this shitty. It got better than that. No, it doesn't. All right, so for this tier list, we are doing the keys of Tarkov. We're not doing every key.
Moist.
We're doing the keys that matter. So there's a lot of like random keys throughout the game that just don't really open up much. And yeah. We're going to cover all the ones that do matter. Now, I suppose before I go any further, we should look at the elephant in the room. And I haven't actually looked at this, but what did Duty's put in today? He said one of Pest's favorite car. It's true. This is a, for you guys who don't know, this is a, it is a VR workshop, but it actually kind of looks like the VK a little bit, but that's like a different variation of the one I like, but still one of my favorite cars. All right, moving on. The fuck is that? It's an Australian car. So, what we'll do is, what map do you want to start with, chap? What map you want to start with? Start with customs. Yeah, it's usually the first map people go. All right, so customs key. Oh. I think it's not really like. Should we do it in groups again? Do you want it in groups again? All right. So let me explain these keys. So in customs, there are a fair few keys that aren't on this list. So for example, like, you know, the 3-story dorms 118 key, the checkpoint key, GDS key, all these other keys. They're not, some of them aren't bad keys. Like there'll be like jackets behind them and stuff like that. Or like the GDS key has like a couple of weapon crates, or the checkpoint key has, I think, a grenade box, a weapon crate, and an ammo crate in there. Like, they're not horrible keys, but they're just not keys that are like, holy shit, you need them kind of thing. Like, there's not a real value in there. All the keys I have here, so starting from 204 to 114, all have safes in them, and gas station and gas station storage key. They complement each other well, and that's why they're in the list, as well as one of them has a safe in there. So I would probably put, let me just think. So 204 and 214 are pretty much the exact same. These keys are so cheap and so good bang for buck that you should have them. 110 goes there. 114 goes there. Customs is here. Gas station would go here. Storage would go here. Factory key. We'll talk about factory key in more detail. Marked key would go up here. And USEC stash. Now, this opens up two. We will zoom in a little bit. This opens up two doors. We can only... USEC stash is F. It opens up like five weapon boxes, 2 jackets, I think. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't even carry it. And you can either boost into the window with a friend, or if you have high enough strength, you can just jump straight in. So, I'll put them in first, and I'll explain why they're in each position. So, starting with storage key inside the gas station on customs, new gas station, right next to the office is a storage room. Inside the storage room is 2 med bags. It's a cheap key, and it will get you to the 2 med bags. And if you're running low on meds, it's actually really handy. Early wipe as well. You can get meds that you can use for questing and stuff like that. So it's not the worst idea to grab it. It does complement itself well with the gas station key. The gas station office key has a safe in there. There's a key spawn on the ground, which can be a lot of different keys. And then there's a couple of little random things on the shelves. So it's not a great key, but there is a safe in there. And if you haven't seen any of my videos about safes, they usually average about 40,000 rubles worth of value per safe. So definitely worth checking out. USEC stash key. Now there's two rooms this opens. The first room, you can jump through the window if you have high enough strength, or you can boost through the window. And there's like a jacket and 2 weapon crates in there. And the second room has like 2 weapon crates and I think it's a duffel bag or something. I don't even use it anymore. It's not a great key, but there is a fair bit of loot for 1 key's worth of stuff. So it's also in a building where you can grab. It's also in a building where you can grab like a heap of other loot too. So it's like I said, not the worst thing. 105 and 204 have okay. 105 this is 2-story dorms. 105 has a safe in there, and you can get some some barter trade items on the ground and on the bed on the couch. 214 and 204 both have safes in there, but 204 is a weapon safe, and underneath you can get other stuff in the weapon safe part. But 214 has some cash spawns on the bed. So they're not great keys, but these really do complement each other. If you don't have in your document case for customs 105, 110, 114, 204, 214, these keys combined, I can't stress it enough, combined will set you back 150,000 rubles, and they'll make you more than that on the first play, like the first run. You'll get diaries, the antique books, you'll get SSDs, SAS drives, all that stuff. For 150k, you'll probably make 200 to 300k if you looted all these in the one run, and it takes up nearly no room. So I would also add 104 to this in the D tier, because it's right across from 105, and it has 2 jackets and a toolbox in there. So you go to 105, then you go straight across, you got 2 jackets, toolbox, bam. Oh, and flash drives too. They're like $340, so about 50,000 rubles there too. Easy money. I'm giving you the easiest money making thing for customs known to man, with little risk, because they all go into your docs case. Take a docs case into customs, all right? Docs case into customs. So when you're looting all these safes, you put all the stuff inside the docs case, and it takes up no room. All right. The reason why 110 key is on the C tier, it's right across from 114. In 110 on the bed, you can get some rare loot spawns like flash drives and fuel conditioners and other stuff. It's not super common, but you can get that on the bed, as well as the safes in there. The 114 key, the reason why it's B tier, and this is more in relation to customs. The 114 key is used for a quest, so you need it for a quest. You have a computer, a safe, and a med box in there, and it's a really strong room for a cheap key. It will set you back 25k. Customs key, you guys need this for 2 quests, and you also have 2 quests or 3? 2 quests. You also got 3 computers, a armor spawn, backpack spawn, intel spawn in the trash can. I always forget it. The trash can has the intel in the breach room door. Check the trash can. There's a shoreline key that spawns on the desk. There's a safe and jackets, and also needed for 2 quests. So customs key, grab one as soon as you can. Factory key. Now this is obviously for factory and customs. So I'd almost put this in S tier, because it's really good. The only reason why I won't put it in S tier is because it doesn't really give you loot. It just gives you survivability, all right? Which I guess could make it S tier. So factory key is used on factory. It opens up 2 different extracts and an extra room, which is up on the office area. And it's inside that room, there's a jacket, and underneath the jacket, there's a spawn for a key, which you don't really, there's nothing to stress about. And then inside that room, sometimes you can get a gun. It's not really very often. But on customs, it opens up the shortcut, and also I don't know the name of it. It's like ZB013, something 013. It's another extract on customs. And it's really handy. It means you can extract from the skeletal building in the middle of customs. So worth having. And you'll find these all the time. I think on my hardcore account, I've looted maybe 1,000 jackets, and I swear to God, I've found 100 of these. It's not super common. I haven't found 100. I've probably found 20 though. So it's definitely worth grabbing. Last key, marked key. I paid 400k for this recently on my raid series, and I think the first time I went into it, I found a money case and sold it for 2 million. you have 25 uses on a marked key, and all you need to do is get one surviving, like you need to survive one raid with a container, or if you find like a dogs case, key tool, dog tag case that goes straight to your container, you've made your money back. So it's almost to the point where you should just have a marked key no matter what. Like, if you're running customs, as soon as you have 400k to buy a marked key, you should be buying it. Because, like I said, you'll make your money back the first one you survive when you get a container. And you probably get a container 1 in 3, 1 in 4. Around that. For the people saying that, what are you talking about? What about the guard desk key? I spoke about it before. It's just not that good. It's got a couple of weapon crates. Oh, but Chitty, it's got better than that. No, it doesn't. Oh, and the mark key is also needed for a quest, just so you know. All right. So that's customs. I suppose the next map we can do after customs, we'll do woods. All right. So woods has 2 keys. Fairly straightforward. ZB014, you can find 60 round mags in there. It's a shortcut to get out, and you can actually find like air filters and other random items in there. I don't know what's going on with my camera. If it does it again, I'll switch to the my other camera. All right, ZB014, 60 round mags spawn in there. You can get air filters and other barter trade items. It's super cheap, and it gives you a lot more survivability for woods because it gives you another extract. I would say this is actually a pretty good key for its price, but it's not like a necessary key. I'd probably put it at about a C tier, but you should definitely have one. Like, it's not expensive, but it's an all right key. It's not game breaking though. Like, you need one now. I know a lot of people try like it's a B tier. It's not consistent enough to make it a B tier. That's why. You can write as much as you want. It's not consistent enough. You do not make enough money in there to make it consistent, and it gives you a little bit of an extract. See, this is where you guys and I are going to argue, because I'm an educated person, and some people in chat aren't. So this one is actually a very good key. I've done 100 Sturman Stash runs of the Sturman Stash, and we mathed out all the money made from it, how many Red Rebels we got, and all that. So if you survive the run of Sturman Stash, you, on average, always make profit before you even get the Red Rebels, right? If you can survive them every time. But we found 5 Red Rebels, or I found 5 Red Rebels in 100 runs. So that's a 1 in 20 chance. So, and that's not counting killing Sturman as well. So if you were to buy this key, run in there and that. So if you believe you've been in the map long enough and you can loot it and then run out, it's always worth looting this stash. As long as you got the backpack space to take the items in there, etc. But it is a single-use key. There is a risk involved. But it's actually a pretty solid key. It's just that you need to survive to make the profit with it. If you are going to run this hidden stash, 2 options. 1, make sure your Red Rebel's insured. And if you see a Red Rebel in there, you can throw yours in a bush, pick up the other one, put it straight into your melee container, and your insured one you'll get back from insurance. Or you don't take in a melee weapon at all. So when you do find a Red Rebel, you can put it straight into your weapon slot. That would be my suggestion for if you're going to use this key. But that's pretty much, yeah, that's that. Woods is a very simple map. You don't really need to know anything else about that. Oh, I really should go back real quickly to customs. With the customs keys, there is a lot of other random keys which I touched on earlier. Pretty much all of them are in the F tier. So like they're not horrible keys. They're just not noteworthy enough to be on above F, in my opinion. We'll start with the like small ones and then we'll go up. So interchange of labs next. All right, labs keys. This one's going to be a doozy. So with labs, for labs keys, I'll put them in position of where they should sit and we'll go from there. So let me just think this out. You probably won't agree, but let me just do this for a sec. I think that's what I want. I could put this here. But there's a reason why, another reason why that people will need to take into consideration for this. I know how everyone in chat's like, but is red really worth the price? You're missing the other half of the. You're looking at half of the picture. All right, let's start at the bottom. All right, the other side of things here. Sorry, the yellow card. So you go inside there. It's to switch off the announcement that you're opening up parking gate, and I think there's like a filing cabinet and maybe a computer in there. It's just crap. There's really nothing else in there. The only thing that yellow is kind of good for is if someone's in parking gate, you can sometimes get the surprise on people and shoot down there and get them because they're not expecting someone to be up there. That's really the only reason that's in there. So yeah, it's an FT key. There's nothing really else great in there. Next, I've got the blue card. This key, this wipe in particular, has been absolutely atrocious. I have not found a LEDX in there in over 100 runs, probably more like 200 runs of labs. Haven't found a LEDX in there. I found maybe one defib and maybe 2 or 3 off-limit scopes. That's for the price. It's really bad. Like, it's really bad. The only thing blue card works well with is the fact that one, there's a green key card spawner right outside it, and two, if you are struggling for meds, like you're doing a 0 to hero run, it kind of makes it a little bit like it's kind of nice to have that option. They're like, oh shit, I need to get some meds, and you'll go in there and you'll have like a small chance to getting some half decent meds. That's about all it's good for. Which is kind of shit. You don't want to be banking on that. Next we have the weapon testing key. This key is very cheap, and you have the chance of getting a really pimped out M4 in there. There's a non-pimped out M4, and there's a heap of weapon parts and a couple of weapon crates. It actually does make you a bit of money, particularly if you get the pimped out M4, or you get the what's the wording for it? Good weapon parts that sell for a lot on the flea. So it's not the most horrible item to get. Key to take in. I'd probably put this one about here with Violet. These ones are going to sit with each other. All right, so Violet key, very expensive, and it's quite brutal for the fact that it is expensive, but it complements the red key card well. So if you have the red key card and the Violet key, you kind of get a lot of loot just from this one spot. But by itself, it's an all right key. So you go in there, there's a heap of weapon parts. You nearly always find suppressors, sights in there, and some of them sell for a lot on the flea market because they're either used for gunsmith tasks or they're meta. Like you'll get like a meta like stock for an M4 or an AK. The other side of it as well is as you enter the room down the bottom right hand corner, you can get gold chains and lions and bitcoins and rollers. Not a really high spawn chance, but you can find them in there. I have found a lion this wipe, and right now they're selling for like 400k. On the left hand side, there's a cage room. Inside the cage room, there's a weapon box, also like a weapon cabinet. But next to that, there's like server racks, and inside the server racks, you can find RFIDs and softum things. To find the RFIDs, they're actually selling for quite a fair bit right now. The room does have potential to make money. Like I said, it complements the red key card well. As for this key, it's called the key card. It's the Sturman key. Sorry, not Sturman. It's the Senator key card for labs. You go inside there, it's needed for a quest. So it's sitting in the middle. It does pay for itself nearly every time. But the problem is you do need to survive the raid to make the money's worth, really. Like if you bought this, went in naked with a Kappa container, went in naked and just tried to loot this room for profit, you'd probably lose money because of the labs key card and this key card on top. But when you go in there, you get probably about 10 stims, and there's some other med spawns in there. Nearly always find stuff like golden stars in there too. So it actually, like I said, it can pay for itself quite well, but it you have to survive the raid to make the most out of it. Green key card. So this room has a black key card spawn in there. It has a LEDX spawn in there, defib spawns in there, intel spawn, and a lot of meds. This is borderline an A class key. The only reason why I'm putting it at B is for how expensive it is to get right now. You cannot buy it for money. You have to buy it for barter trade because it's just, that's how they're doing it with the taxes. So you need to either farm like 1,000 bloody graphics cards or Tetrises to be able to get this one. So honestly, I'm so frustrated at this key. because unless you find it yourself, you're going to have to farm like 1 million interchange runs to be able to get it. So yeah, it's why it's more of a B class key to me, because it's just how difficult it is to get to be able to start even making profit from it. Now for A class, we've got the black key card. Now this one I love. It's such, okay, depending on the wipe. I picked this one up for 3 million this wipe. It is a little bit more expensive right now. Last wipe, you'd buy it for under 1 million, and the stims make so much profit, particularly like green stims right now for like 80k. What other stims? Like mules sell for like 80k to 100k. Like you can make a lot of money just off stims alone, and you'll get like 4 to 10 every time you go in this room. It just really does supplement your runs well, and those stims you can either use or sell. So yeah, so anything from like SJ6s, mules, and the green stims all sell for really well in the flea market, and you can use them yourself. So the key kind of pays for itself quite quickly if you do a lot of labs, and also you can use the stims yourself. So it's an A-class key to me. All right, jumping up to the S tier. Now, there's 3 keys in there. One of them you can't use without the other. So the Arsenal security room, you can't use this key at all without getting into the red key card first. So there's a reason why this one's only 75k on the flea. No point even buying it until you have a red key card. A lot of people say, like, why is the red key card in S tier? Because it's so expensive and it doesn't make your money back. Okay, red key card is more than just a loot room. It's a show of wealth, right? When you have a red key card, you look down on other people. You go to labs and you're like, you're a peasant. You don't have a red key card. Like your mates will be like, oh, can you open the door, man? And you'll be like, yeah, dude. And then you'll shut the fucking door on them. You know, like there's a reason why red key cards are so expensive. Rich people have it. You know, not everyone drives a Porsche or you know, Mercedes down the road unless you're like a slush puppy, I guess. But like, you know, like, it's a big flex. And on top of that, if you find one of these on Shoreline, you make like 70 million rubles or 50 million rubles. So it's like, it's an S tier because if you find one, you become rich instantly. It's like winning the lottery. So if you find one, survive the raid, you sell it on the flea market, and now you no longer have to worry about money anymore. It's like, well, that's good. One less thing. You know, like Forrest Gump just kicks in, like investing in some fruit company. So it's one of those keys. Now, if you do want to use the key yourself, you go into labs. I did do testing on this a few wipes ago. It does change each wipe. You probably make on average, including selling the parts on the flea market. The downside is the labs key cards to go into the raid, but the actual room itself would probably make you about 300 to 400k a run, I would imagine. You'll get 1 to 2 rare items from the actual Arsenal security room, but then all the weapon parts. Some of the weapon parts you'll sell for heaps. There's also an intel spawn in there. If you're after specific items for quests like, I don't know, Sheriff Eli badges and Veritas picks and lions and cats and all that kind of stuff, you'll get these really quickly inside the red room. I don't really need to talk many more about that. It's a massive flex item, and that's why it's S tier. And like I said, it makes you instantly rich if you do get out of a raid alive with one. Last one for labs management office. This key is a pure S tier key. If you go labs and you don't have one of these keys, you are shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to profit per raid. So the management office, it's a little bit hit and miss at the moment. I swear they've reduced the spawn rates in labs, but particularly last wipe and every other wipe before this one, you would find a minimum 200 to 300,000 rubles per run going into the management office. I think one time I found 2 Bitcoins and a roller in there. Like, it's just so much money. And I think that's why they've nerfed it, because if they did still have it so you could find 2 Bitcoins in a run there, you'd just be like, well, why would I do anything else? Just go pistol, labs keycard, kappa, straight to the management office and just steal all the loot. So if you're a labs runner and you don't have a management office key, you're silly. In all seriousness, this is by far the biggest money making room for the value of the key, for the whole map. I honestly, yeah, even like red room, I think management office, particularly when the loot isn't as nerfed as it is, for the value of the key of the management office, it's just straight up S tier key. Right, we'll do interchange. Interchange for this one. Let me just have a quick think of it. There's some good keys. There's some seriously good keys. Which key is this, duties? This is the wrong key. Why is this here? Oh, okay. It doesn't normally say logistics office on it though, does it? It does now. All right. Trolling me. All right. Let me do this. This is tough. This is actually tough. Computer's S for sure. Yeah. I don't know. This is tough. I don't want to just have everything on S tier. Like I'm trying to not make everything S tier. What do the colors mean? How much they cost? So anything that's got a white border is over $1 million, then under $1 million, under 500K, etc., etc. I know I'm going to cop shit for this, but this is what I think I want to do. This is what I think I want to do. That's what I think I want to do. All right, so let me explain. We'll start at the bottom. OE logistics key. Why is this F tier? Because I fucking hate it. I've been farming for this fucking key on my hardcore challenge. My editor's gonna have to bleep this now. I have to farm this key on my hardcore account for so bloody long to try and get in there. All these bloody quests, and it just shits me. It takes time to get onto this list and effort, and that's why it's in F tier. It frustrates me. All that's in there is a quest item and also a computer, and you might get like a Kleenex or some shit, tissue for all the crying that I'm doing. But at the same time, there's nothing else in there. But it is needed for a quest, so it's an F tier because it's fucking trash. The rest of these keys for interchange. There are some other keys. The cash register keys. I would if I put the cash register keys on this list, I would just put them all in the E. Honestly, all 3 cash registers are good to go. Goshen keys needed for a quest. So it'd be on the E as well. But like you do make some money from there. It's just time consuming and it's just not that enjoyable just to sit there and open cash registers. But you can make money from them. And then there's a couple of other Ollie keys where you get like an admin building or the utility room. Nothing good in there. So they'd be in the F. So there's no point putting those on the list. Going up to pharmacy. Why is the pharmacy on the C? You guys might be asking, because I know you guys, there's people in my chat right now going, why is pharmacy C? It's fucking trash. It's actually got a LEDX spawn now. Did you know that? Did you know pharmacy had a LEDX spawn? Because it does. All right. And it's like it's been buffed because there's a lot more other loot in there. So yeah, there's a LEDX spawn inside pharmacy now. So if you're running into Idea, it's at the bottom of the staircase on the right hand side. That's where the pharmacy is, and you can get a LEDX in there, or there's other spawns too. So there's a med box and a heap of med spawns. It's not a bad key in just general anyway, even if there wasn't a LEDX spawn in there. B. All right, so mess key. Inside there you can get a graphics card, a LEDX, and also it's used for a quest and other med spawns. There's a jacket. It's not the most horriblest key. The problem is it's more of a key if you're going to be sticking around interchange for a little bit, and you either want to get meds or you just want to keep fully clearing it. And get all the loot possible. It's more of the kind of key that if you're going in as a squad and there's too many of you to loot the entire map, so you just got to try and get all the loot possible. So mess key's actually kind of not bad there for that. So grab a mess key. You need it for a quest anyway, and it can make you money, but it's low chance to make you good money. You know what I mean? Okay. Hashtag 21WS. A lot of you guys out here would be like, why would I spend, I'm guessing 600K it's probably up for right now, maybe 800K. Why would I spend 800K on this key? I'm going to direct you right now to another content creator called Geeksa, who made a YouTube video not too long ago, probably about 6 months ago, talking about this room. He did 15 runs, looted every single item, and then vended it to the flea market. No, vended it to trader, and also added in flea market prices if you did it that way too. And it worked out to be on average, about 200K a run. So this key is worth about 3 million rubles if you were to loot it and scoot every single time. It was between 200 and 250K a run. So it's one of those keys that you can have it, and then if the power's on and you're on that side of the ball and you can loot it, there is weapon spawns in there. There's a trooper armor. There's a heap of mods. It's probably even worth more right now because a lot of the weapon mods seem to be going for a lot more than they used to. So I wouldn't be like spending millions on this, but it's one of those keys that if you've got plenty of money and you run a lot of interchange, you can supplement your runs with it. So 21 WS, it's definitely a B tier key. That's a B tier weapon. And for people in chat saying it's too far away, you can literally spawn right near it, and by the time you're even up to it, someone's already put the power on in the power station, and you can loot this. So shut up. A class tiers. Now, this is where the controversy is going to happen. We'll start with the ultra medical key because it's the elephant in the room when it comes to this topic. Why is this not an S class key? 4 million rubles, and it is the most clusterfuck of an area of the entire game. Like, you have the tech spawns under the tech store underneath it, Techno. You have Tech Light just outside it, and every single hatchling and super Chad, mega Chad, if they're not going for killer, is headed right here, and people camp the door. It is, and then the power needs to be on for you to open it, right? So if you don't turn the power on and someone else has, you're probably already too late. If you turn the power on and you get there, you're probably already too late. It's one of those things. It's just brutal. It's just brutal. All for a LEDX spawn. There's a LEDX, a pretty good chance for a LEDX, I'll be honest. LEDX, defib, and ophthalmoscope spawn in there, and some other meds. It is way too competitive and contested to make this key S tier because you just don't have very good opportunity to ever use it. I'm going to say a very short and quick and easy fix that I would like for this. It's not really relevant to the tier list, but there's two options that I think that would be kind of cool. Putting the power on at the power station puts a 10-minute timer or some shit, like a timer base. I don't care what the timer is. Let's just say a timer before you can unlock this room. I think that would be cool to make it so then people can't just charge it at the start of the map and then just open it. That would be option one. Or option two, I actually really like this idea, but a lot of other people are a bit hit and miss with it. In the power station on the whiteboard, they have a whiteboard in the office area, and there's a 4-digit code, and it randomly generates a 4-digit code, and you need to use that code to unlock the ultra medical room. So you have to flick the power on, read the code off the wall, and then you can unlock it. And if anyone else wants to unlock it, they have to go to the power station to get that code to unlock it. I think that's a really cool idea. It makes a bit more like a element of cool, like, I don't know. Anyway, let's leave it at that. I think that would be an easy or a better fix. But the other fix, it's number 3, would be to move the ultra medical room to where, like, the other side of upstairs. So then it just spreads out the fighting. So there's a med store actually on the idea side of upstairs. Maybe make the ultra medical room over there. And then that way you don't have all the tech spawns right next to one of the best med spawn loots in the game. There's 3 options. 3 options. But anyway, I think that would just make it a little bit better. Because right now, it's such a clusterfuck getting up there. That's why it's an A tier. If it wasn't for all the combat that happens outside it, it would be an S tier. Now, for 11 SR, this one is the, you got to go to you have the power on, go to the hamburger shop, into the bathroom, you move the I don't know what you call it, a pisser. And then you swipe the card, and then you get the underground unlock to extract the raid. And also you can unlock another cargo container, shipping container, where you can get more loot if you wanted to. Inside 11 SR, you can get rollers, bitcoins, moonshine. I found 2 moonshine in there. And a lot of other really cool spawns, heap of weapon crates, and it's another extract from interchange. The cool thing about this room is it's 15 uses, and it usually sits around a 1.2 to 1.6 million mark. So if you think of it, it's like paying 100k to extract the raid, but it's a safe way of extracting. If you are in the raid for a little while, and then you go and open this and get out, it actually works really well. If you try and rush it, there's a pretty good chance someone will run past it, because there's a lot of movement in that area. But for bang for buck is actually really good. I think people are saying it's about 2.5 to 3 million right now. And prices are a little bit inflated because of the whole Bitcoin stuff going on. But it's actually a pretty solid key. Even if it is like 3 million, it's still 200k for a safe extract. And when you're fully loaded with like 2 to 3 million worth of gear, I think it's worth it. It's not something you have to use either. It's more of just giving you an extra option. All right. And then there's also, when you're inside there, you can flick the switch, go all the way across to the other side of the map near the power station and unlock the other container over there. Not really much loot in there. I've never really had much success in making money there, but it's cool if you want to see it. All right. Now for the keys, these are S tier. So to give a bit more perspective, the Ultra Medical Storage Room at the moment is between 4 and 5 million. You can get the Kiba key from doing your quest or buying it on the flea market for about 40. I think it's between 40 and 100k for the quest key. And then the actual main key, the one you have to either do the barter trade or find, they're about 400k. So for about 450 to 500k, you can get into the Kiba store. And I can nearly guarantee you, if you got into the Kiba store with a big backpack and fully looted it, if you took nothing else but everything inside that store and left, if you went to the flea market and sold some of the attachments, you'd be amazed how much you'd make in attachments. A lot of people go in there and just look at the guns. There is a AK, I think it's like an AK 103 or 104 or something that has like a Reaper on it, like a thermal sight. Yeah, sure, that makes like a million rubles, but the actual attachments you can find in there alone is worth heaps. Nearly every time I go in there, even when I'm not the first person in there, I still make a couple 100,000 rubles because people don't loot the right attachments. They don't think about it. Like, hey, that pistol grip's worth like 60k right now, a Grail pistol grip, or you'll get like a stock, like, or an anodized red buffer tube for an M4 and it's worth like 70k or 80k. Like, those people leave them behind. I can't believe it every time I see it. Suppressors are also worth 40k to vendor, so those kind of items, it's just really good bang for buck when it comes to selling. It's apparently like an AK 101 or a 102 for the Reaper gun. Also, the guns on the wall, you can get P90s, you can get AKs, M4s, I think PP19s. Like, it's good money. I'm actually really excited to try and get to it, and I'm nearly up to that point in the hardcore series. I've already got the I think the Kiba 1 key, the Kiba 2 key from the quest. I'm not too far behind. So once I get that key, I'm going to be using that a lot. Shoreline Reserve next, chat. I feel like I'm talking 100 miles an hour to try and get all this information. I'll do Reserve last because it's more of a head fuck for me. So many keys. All right. This is East 205. East 205 would go here, but West 205 would go here. West 218, 221, 222. This one goes up here. I'd put, they're both quite strong. 308, so this is 306, 308. That's a quest key. 314 goes down here. This one would go here. 216 West. It's actually quite strong, so that goes here. And 306 West is here. We'll start at the bottom, move up. The colors around it is the cost. You can see that later on. We'll make sure the image shows the costing nice and clear. Cool. All right. So F tier, West 321 safe key. The reason why this key is not too great is it's out of the way. But otherwise it would be E tier with the other two safes. I like safes a lot, and it's just out of the way, so therefore it doesn't really fit any sort of loot pathing and that. You kind of have to go all the way up to the top of the west wing. You might go through, you might go past a couple of weapon boxes and duffel bags to get to it, but overall it's just not that good of a key. So that's why it sits in the F tier. Yeah, almost doesn't need to be on the list. E tier, we've got the two safes from the management office and the warehouse. So this is the main building in the middle of the resort. You're already over there doing looting, so having these two safe keys just supplements that. I like to take docs cases into my maps when I'm doing loot runs, and so it just means that you can put more, Bitcoins and SSDs and SAS drives and all that stuff into there, and you'll be able to make a little bit more profit with a little bit more safety with that. So I would pick these up if you haven't got them already, because safes are going to make you a heap of money. West 306. This one's a quest key. Inside there's two dead scavs. You sometimes, very, very, very rarely, can find an M4 spawn on the bed. Super low chance. And some meds on the bed and some cash on the floor. That's the whole loot for the room. It's got a quest item in there. But besides that, it's just a frustrating room. You go in there like, oh, maybe this will be the one where I get something good. And you never do. D tier. All right, we'll go from the left. This is East 107. There is a LEDX spawn in there, but I have either never found one or it's very, very low spawn chance. It's right next to the key with tape, which is this one up here. Honestly, a couple of med boxes, and it's not that great. It's not that great. I just don't really find that much success with it. So yeah, it supplements your runs with a bit of meds, but you can find Tetris is in there as well, but it's just a low spawn chance for anything good. I honestly, I just haven't found much good stuff in there. I know people at the moment saying, but there's a GPU and Tetris spawn in there. I don't know how many runs I've done in this room to find any sort of decent profit. Just saying. All right, maybe you guys have more success than me. Next one, Cottage and the Cottage safe key. There's the reason why these are on D tier while these ones are on E tier. These ones are a lot safer to get, and they're right next to the other cottages. So you go to the unlocked cottages, you'll loot those 2 safes over there, then you head over to the locked cottage and you get both these safes here, which gives you 4 safes very close to each other, and it's quite safe to get these safes. On top of that, the cottage key is required for a quest. So they supplement each other and they're quite cheap. Well, okay, the cottage safe key is cheap. Cottage key goes up in price early in the white because people need it for a quest. So yeah, definitely worth grabbing these to putting into your loot runs if you're not going into the resort. Now, this one is the East 308, which is also linked to the East 306 key. So this one could say East 308, 306. I don't know if we can Photoshop that in for the final screenshot or not, but maybe we'll put it down the bottom. That is required for a quest. 2 quests, actually. One's on the balcony, one's on the chair. And there's 4 computers. There's some med spawns. There's a DVL spawn, gold chains. It's actually quite a good loot room. But compared to the rest of the resort, these keys get pretty insane when it comes to loot. So not a bad one. A lot of quests required there. You'll pick one of these up pretty cheap, East 306 or 308. And you should definitely have one for when you go into a resort. Next we have, this is East 314. It's linked to East 315, I do believe. No, East 313. So 313 and 314 are linked. And there's another key for 315, which is a different room. 313 and 314, there is a LEDX spawn in there. Very small spawn chance. When you go into the East 313 room, it's the big box on the left. On the very corner up the top is where the LEDX spawns. Inside the rest of the room, there's a weapon case and also a med bag. And then you go into the other room, which is the 314 room. And inside there is a heap of barter traded items, a weapon box, and some other loose spawns. It's an all right room. The LEDX spawn chance is super low. All right, super low. Moving up to the C drive, the C tier. So this is West 104 and 112. Starting with 104. Well, actually, technically, both of these have blue keycard spawns. So that's why it's on the C tier, because of the blue keycard spawns make it very valuable. 104 is not needed for a quest, and there is a LEDX spawn in there and also med spawns, which makes it nice. So the chance of getting a really good loot out of that is worthwhile for making money. So that's why it's on the C. And then 112, there's the blue keycard spawn, and it's needed for a quest, but there's no LEDX spawn. So that's how come they both sit on the C class. The Storeroom Key. This one also gets you into East 3 to 8, but it also puts you into the storage rooms on the West Wing as well, which gives you barter trades as well. And it's a really good key because it gets you into so many rooms for so little cost. LEDX spawn, Tetris spawn, and there used to be a thermal spawn in East 328, which is the room that it gets you in on the East Wing. But I don't know if there is still a thermal spawn there, but definitely still a Tetris spawn, and I'm fairly confident graphics card spawn in there too. So you should be definitely picking one of these up if you don't already have one. Don't get the 328 key. 328 key is usually more expensive than this key. I don't know why. It gets you in the same room, but also gets you into extra rooms. This one is East 205. Now, this is one of the gold rooms. It's linked to a room with... So this is 205, 206, East Wing. They're both the same key, or go into the same rooms. In the 206 room, you have 3 weapon crates, an AKS-74UB spawn, and some med spawns. And then in the 205 room, gold spawn, which is like your bitcoins and stuff like that. and also a med bag, duffel bag. There's a weapon container or cabinet on the balcony as well. It's not a bad key. Should pick it up. Pretty much every key from this point up, you should definitely try and get if you're doing shoreline runs. Now, this is West 220. The reason why this key is slightly higher is it's got the same bonus of the 205 with being the gold spawns. There is some other loot in there. Usually get a fair few meds and stuff, but it's also required for a quest on the balcony. You can go around to the balcony of the 219 room, and you don't need to pick up a 219 key. So you get the bonus of a gold loot spawn, but you can get the quest done as well, so you don't need to worry about getting a 219 key. B tier, for 310, you are looking at... this used to be like the go-to room for the resort. You'd sprint straight there and hope to make money. The 310 room, I once found 3 Bitcoins in. It's kind of a bit hit and miss now. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But it definitely should be picked up because it's so cheap. Generally, it's really cheap. You should always loot this room when you go past it, because if you do get a good RNG, you can find a lot of money in here. This is where you'll find your lines and Bitcoins, rollers, gold chains, chainlets, teapots, vases, all that stuff will be in here. So pick this one up if you can. 205 West, this one has a red keycard spawn in it, so you should be picking this one up. This one is 205, 203. So these are both linked, 203, 205. You can get in 203, I'm pretty sure it is, there is a red keycard spawn next to the bed on the newspaper. Then there's also a LEDX spawn in 205 on the bedside table. And then you've got med spawns, an MP5 spawn, and a heap of other like random loot spawns and stuff. So quite a good key. And purely for the fact that the red keycard spawns in there, you should be picking up this key. 218, this is also linked to 221, 222 for West Wing. This one has a red keycard spawn in 218 on the blue barrel. And there's also a heap of other spawns here. Loose med spawns, cash, food and meds. Inside the 218 bathroom on the box, you can find an RSAS and some other guns. What else? There's heaps. There's med spawns, med bag, weapon crates, 2 weapon cabinets. Just a good key. So that's West 218, 221, 222. West 216. In this room, it's needed for a quest. As soon as you enter, there's the cabinet on the left. That's got the quest item inside it. But there's a box next to that cabinet that can spawn Tetrises. On the chair next to that's M4s, and then there's 3 weapon crates and also meds in there. I think the Wikipedia page says there's a LEDX spawn in there, but I've never found a LEDX in there. So I don't know if that's bullshit, someone making up crap. But you can also find GPUs on the left-hand side where the Tetris spawns as you enter as well. Really strong key. I pretty much always go into this room. 2 grenade boxes as well. So quite good room. Oh, and the table and the box next to it as you enter, straight ahead of you, there's a table and a box next to it. Loose ammo. Sometimes you'll find a full stack of like M61 or ammo of like 993. That stuff makes heaps of money. If you can find those good loose ammo spawns, and then food and drink as well. Talking like 100 mile an hour. A tier keys. West 301. This key, it can't be S tier for me. It's not consistent enough to be S tier. But the West 301 room has 3 LEDX spawns, but I've only ever seen 2 at the same time in there. Which is, as soon as you enter, there can be a LEDX on the box or on the floor as you enter the 301 room, like the very first doorway. Then you turn right, you go around the balcony, and you go into the actual room itself. You can have a LEDX spawn on the left or on the right on the bed. So technically 3 LEDX spawns inside here. I found 2 in the one run once, but I don't think it's very possible to get. You'd have to have like the RNG gods hit you to be able to get the 3 LEDXs inside here. But yeah, it's got 2 computers, weapon crate, and some barter trade item spawns, and some med spawns. Bed always has med spawns on it too. So really good amount of money you can make from this room. And watch out when you go to open this door. As you're running up to the door, look to the right-hand side. There's a pot plant. Watch out for someone hiding in the pot plant. All right. if you're new to Shoreline. Hebs key. This one you get from a quest. This key right here is very underrated key. It's for the power station. You go up to the top of the power station and there is a doorway. You go inside the doorway. There's 3 weapon crates. I want to say 3 weapon crates. It might be 2. And there's weapon parts that spawn on the table, which can be very valuable. And underneath the table is an intel spawn. A lot of people don't even touch this. So yeah, chat's confirming 3 weapon crates. A lot of people don't even touch this. There's toolboxes here. Like outside, there's toolboxes, there's jackets, there's heaps of stuff in the power station alone. But inside this room, you'll make good money nearly every time. So it's worth going in and checking it out. It's just, yeah, like I said, it's a really good key for a free key from a quest. So grab it. Every time you go to power station, make sure you check this room out. The amount of money you'll make from this room will be quite surprising. All right, S tier, 2 keys, tape key. This one is the most consistent spawn in the game, in my opinion, for lead X's. I don't care what you guys say. I have found more lead X's in this room than any other room in the game. More than 222, 226, more than Ultra Medical room. You go inside the room, on the right-hand side, in the shower, at the bottom, there's lead X spawns, and there's also lead X spawn in the back left. And no, on the left as you enter, there's definitely a second spawn on the left-hand side. I can't remember. It's been a little while since I've ran this room a lot. I seem to find lead X's all the time. People might not agree with me, but this is my tier list, and so I make the rules. Very, very consistent spawn for lead X off my scopes. If not, you'll find golden stars in the shower, grizzlies, all the meds. It just you make a lot of money here. It's just a really strong key. It's East 110. There's a big handprint of like blood next to the doorway, and yeah, you'll have some good success in there, I'm sure. This key is very expensive early wipe, and it does get cheaper as the wipe goes on. East 222. This is also linked to 226. If you're running Shoreline, this is another must key. So if you could buy 2 keys for Shoreline, it'd be tape key and then 222 or 226 for East Wing. In East 226, there's a shelving right next to the doorway. The most lead X's I've ever seen personally is 2. But I believe you can get 3. I've never seen it, but I believe there's 3 spawns there. But yeah, so you get ophthalmoscopes here, and then also in this room, there's just other good spawns. There's food. There's an MP5 spawn in 222. You can get Tetrises in 222 and graphics cards. There's a box on the ground right into the bathroom on the right-hand side of 222 that has all the gold spawns. So rollers, bitcoins, lions, cats, horses, vase. Horses spawn there. Pro kills. It's like a loot haven. People will argue, I would agree, that this potentially would be the highest lead X spawn in the game in 226. But I would toss up between the tape and the 226 room. But honestly, you should have both keys. If you're running Shoreline a lot, you should have both keys. And this, yeah, that's pretty much, I wouldn't change anything on my tier list here. There's people asking me about the 219 key. I'd put it in F tier. Or the West 219 key, that'd be F tier. It's, besides the fact that it's used for a quest, there's a weapon cabinet, a weapon case, a crate, some med spawns, and a weapon box. Pretty shit key. Compared to the rest of the Shoreline keys, yeah. All right. Whew. That was a lot of talking. This is going to take me probably like 3 or 4 minutes to put together where they should go, because it's going to be a bit of massaging. Reserve. There is so many keys to this one, and I would almost recommend buying them all. Everyone has different experiences with Reserve and which keys work and which ones don't. I'm going to try my best to explain which keys are good and why they're good. Right, so starting with F tier, RBRS. Now, this key for me, I never find anything decent in it. Like, there's like some, this is in the dome. There's like some relays and some random stuff like that. It doesn't have anything great in there. I don't know. It needs a buff if it's going to ever be useful. It's just not that good. We'll leave it there. Right next to it is RBKORL. This key, it's got intel spawns in there, but it's just, it's just, I don't know. It's not very consistent at all. I wouldn't, I just can't recommend you guys buying it for any good reason besides if you're already up there and you've got some extra money, you might get a chance for an intel spawn. But that's it. That's it. Now, why isn't RB, PK, PM in F tier? I have done 50 runs-ish of that room and I found a holodeal nickel once. The reason why this isn't F tier is because if you're already going down there, you search it, you use this key down to 1 use, and then you put it aside and you can barter trade it for a marked key later on. All right. So if you get one of these, just use it, search it every time you get down there, get it down to one use, put it aside. And then when you finish using your RBVO and BK keys later on, you can barter trade for a marked key and you get a free marked key for it. So there is the spawn chance of anything good in there is very, very low. I have found one holodeal nick in 50 uses, but I wouldn't be paying a lot of money for it. All right. Now for the rest of this is going to be busy. Orb 1, 2, and 3. All right, this is going to be a little bit more over the shop, but all over the shop. Orb 1 and 2 are both in the white pawn building. But the Orb 1 key has an intel spawn on the floor. Besides that, they actually got a lot of weapon spawns, so AKS and AK-74N spawns in there, and it's also got the lot of BT ammo and other weapon parts. So they're both pretty much similar with that. Same with Orb 3, but the Orb 1 key has the intel spawn. The Orb 3 key and Orb 2 keys, like I said, they're just good for weapon parts, AK-74Ns, and stuff like that. So that's why they sit there. They're not great keys, but they're not bad keys. If you're doing 0 to Heroes or Hardcore, they're great. They're actually really good because it gives you a gun very consistently. RBST is going to be a little bit more controversial, this key positioning. RBST apparently has 2 ace spawns in there. I've never found them. Very, very small chance if there are in there. There is a tank battery spawn in there. Also quite small chance. You can get the, what's the name of them? The 30 mil shells can spawn in there. Also a very low chance. There's actually about 3 or 4 spawns chances for that in there. It's just a very inconsistent and shitty key in a shitty location. I don't really like it. I think you're wasting your time being over there in any large periods of time, unless you're going there later on in the raid when it's already like half the other mats. The rest of the mats already been looted. All right, RBAO. Now this supplements the key RBVO. Now I'll do both these at the same time because they're in the same building. So RBVO is a marked room. And it's located by itself near the train station. There's not really much else other stuff over there. And so that's why unless you spawn next to it, you're not really going to go out of your way to check this because of just how isolated it is. Plus there's 3 or 4 spawns really close to it. So there's a lot of it's very contested early on. And that's why the RBVO is in the A tier instead of S tier. But it's still a very good key. RBAO, I said VO, right? VO is an A key. RBAO is in the same building, and it has AK spawns in there and stuff, and some weapon parts. It's only good because it supplements the VO. You wouldn't go out of your way for AO. If you only had the AO key, you'd be like, yeah, if I go over there, I'll loot it. But that's about it. And that's pretty much that. So for RBOP and GN, now these keys are located in the bottom of the King building, and they are a little bit hit and miss. Now, I hope I do this right, but the GN one is the one with toolboxes, and it's got 2 toolboxes, and it has the big FP100 filter that spawns in there, and tank battery that spawns in there, whereas the OP key has intel spawns that spawn in there and filing cabinets. So you can get 2 intel spawns on the OP. You'll loot them because you're going past them, but the consistency is not that high. So I would leave it as a D tier because of how inconsistent it is. But if you can pick up the keys cheap, pick them up and you won't be disappointed because you'll get your money back over time. We've already spoken about the Orb 1 key. Now I'm going to put MP 11, 12, 13, 21, and 22 all in the one umbrella because I just don't want to repeat myself. Nearly every single one of these keys has either a tank battery spawn or an intel spawn or both in them. They're actually pretty good keys. Like these keys alone could be like B or A tier. The reason why they're not is because every time I spend time in these buildings, I am going to, it's always contested. Mega Chads always clear through here to kill players. You've got the Scav boss that can spawn in this area. Scavs are always through this area. As soon as you spend a extended period of time in here, you are going to get contested by other players, particularly once you start shooting and they know you're there. So these keys are actually quite good, but it's just a really difficult spot to consistently fight and loot at the same time. And the vertical audio is quite rough in those two buildings. So it's the black and white night buildings. So yeah, it is what it is. They are good keys. Pick them up cheap and start looting them. Most of them, like I said, will either have an intel spawn or a tank battery spawn or both. Next, I've got RB, Snp, and Ksm. These ones are located in the White Bishop, and they are both med building spawns. And you can get golden stars and ophthalmoscopes. There is no LEDX spawn. I don't care what you say. There is no LEDX spawn in this building. I reckon there's been forged videos, documented videos that have been faked and bullshit. Bullshit. There's no LEDX spawn inside this building. All right, B tier. I'm probably a little bit biased because I love these keys. But PSP 1, 2, PS 81, 82, these are money-making machines. All right, so if you're after quest items like anything from medical supply crates, technical supply crates, or ration supply crates, so cigarettes, food, med spawns, or barter trade items, you will find everything you need in these cages. Early wipe, these are a gold mine. So what you do is you loot these cages and you have a friend go press the button and then you extract through the hermetic door. Or because reserve is so crazy at times, you loot these and you wait for someone to press the hermetic door button and you just run straight out. So you can make heaps of money from these. You just go in with a basic rig, backpack. There's sometimes a scav or two down there. Very rarely you'll find a scav boss down there. Not overly contested. For reserve, a lot of the spawns are very contested for loot. If you go straight to this, generally you won't have much of an issue unless someone spawns right there and they go straight down. That's probably the only person you're going to have to battle against. Reserve's a very contested map. Like, all the loot is kind of sucked up like a vacuum cleaner within 5 minutes, and then you're really trying to fight for the scraps after that point. So if you can get to a spot that doesn't have too much of an issue, and you can get consistent loot from it, that's a win. All right, RBTB. Now, this one's located directly outside the RBB cave room. And the reason why I've got it in the B class tier is because it supplements the RBB cave room so well, but there's also a really pimped out AK that you can get inside there as well. So you loot the RBB cave room, being the marked room, and then you go straight across the hallway to the RBB TB room, and you'll find 60 round mags and all weapon spawns, AK spawns, and then the pimped out AK. When you do get it, it's definitely worth its money. So yeah, good to go. Next, we've got the A class. So we've already spoken about the RBVO marked room located over by the train station. RBKPRL. Now, this one is located up by the dome. Outside the dome, there's two little buildings. In one building, it's unlocked. There's a safe in there. And across from that, there's a second building. There's two safes. And there's also a intel spawn in there. If you spawn up there, you should loot this straight away. You'll get your money back on this key when it's not sold out. Right now, it's sold out like crazy. But yeah, you'll get your money back pretty quickly. If you're watching this video, probably wait a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely worth looting this room. If you want a tip for reserve, this is my loadout when I go into reserve when it comes to inside my container. I take two key tools, and I put all my keys inside those two key tools, and then I take an empty docks case. Inside the docks case, You put all your SAS drives, SSDs, Intel spawns. There's 40 Intel spawns. I've got a YouTube video showing all the Intel spawns. And you'll find at least, if you know all the Intel spawns, you'll find at least one Intel per run, plus all the money you get from the safes and SSDs and all that stuff. The other option you could do if you wanted to is go one key tool, one SIG case, and a docs case would be the other option I would do. I think the most Intel spawns I've had in a raid is about 3 or 4. And right now they're selling for 380k a pop. So if you get 3 Intel spawns, even if you die, there's scav runs that you can use in the hideout anyway. So good to go. So that's RBKPRL. Now, RBRLSA, this is in the dome. This is a newer key that's been added inside the dome. It's very consistent. You go inside this room. On the right-hand side, there's food spawns. There's a table to the front. On the left-hand side, there is a filing cabinet. On top of the filing cabinet is an Intel spawn. I do believe there might be an Intel spawn on the table as well. I just haven't found it yet. But directly left as you enter the room on the shelving is your military tech spawn. So military circuit batteries, COFDMs, military cables, and whatever the other one is, GMTs or whatever they're called. So you make your money quite quickly in this room. And if you're doing this with KPRL, you loot the whole dome area. You can generally make a fair bit of money. Head straight down into the tunnels, loot through the tunnels, hit the button and extract through D2. Or if someone's already pressed the button, you can just go straight out through D2. Easy money without very much risk. All right, RBAM. Now, this one is right below the RBAK room. Now, I don't have the RBAK on the list because you don't need a key to get in there. You can do the drop down out the window, go inside there. There's Tetrises and graphics cards. So if RBAK was a locked room, it would be an S tier. But because you can drop down, you don't even need the key. So save yourself the money on the key and just do the drop down method. After you finish looting RBAK, you drop down outside the window and go straight inside, do the RBAM, and you'll get, there is Intel spawn on the chair. A lot of people miss it. If the room's already looted, go inside, check the chair. There's the Intel spawn on the chair. There's the FP100 filters. There's 5 stills. There's 3 toolboxes, COFDMs and other military tech spawns. It's just a good room. Really solid room. So you should always have this key. Always. Last but not least is the RBBK room. This is the marked room and you should have this key. Just be careful when you go to loot this room. At the end of the hallway, opposite end of the hallway, there's a little storage room. People can sit up on the box and be completely hidden, and they'll wait for you to make the noise to open the door. They'll lean out, shoot you. I do it all the time. That's why I'm telling you about it. But just be careful. RBBK is a very contested room early on. It's a marked room. You can get all your good marked room loots from there. So that is it for my tier list. If you're watching on YouTube, comment down below if you agree with anything, if you disagree. But if you're watching, if you're in the Twitch chat right now, I'm sure I'm going to hear all the things I said wrong and that I should burn in a fiery pit of hell for saying some of the things I said. So, yep. Thanks for watching. I should really do a proper YouTube outro, shouldn't I? So you guys know the drill. Like and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe, notification bell if you haven't already. I do tier list Tuesdays every Tuesday. In the raid series, you should be watching that too. And also, Kickerpest channel, Outdoor Adventures. I'm going to be rebranding that channel and doing some outdoor videos. Go down, link below, give a sub over to that channel. There'll be more content going out over there. And lastly, guys, I'll see you next time. Cool. There we go. That's done. Hello, YouTube.